Sup dudes, it's Beth B and I'm back. Many people thought I was gonna stop posting. Honestly, I also kind of thought that, but I did not stop posting. Haha. I just took a break. I do apologize for not posting. Now that I have some time, I've decided to start posting again. So a lot of people on my TikTok have actually requested that I make this video because I made a shorter TikTok video about it. So here it is. I started learning Korean in December of 2018, which means it's been about a year and a bit now since I started learning. So I'm nowhere near fluent. I know some people can be fluent in a year, but it's not me. I'm nowhere near fluent, but I am pretty proud of the progress I've made so far. Here are the 10 things I use. So the two big things about learning a language, in my opinion, is you have to actually learn the language, like the rules and everything, and then you need to practice. Practicing is more, if like not the most important thing of learning a language, because honestly there's a lot of people in this world who know all the grammar rules and everything and they can't speak the language. Like the most important thing is practice. Let us get to the video. So the first thing I use is YouTube. Okay, I'm a broke student, so I don't have money to be paying for expensive Korean lessons. However, I do still want to learn the language. Luckily on YouTube there's like a ton of free resources. Essentially all you need is Wi-Fi or data, which is expensive in its own, but anyways. The first YouTube channel I would recommend is Simal Korean. I've been using a playlist called Jenny's Korean Mastering in a Month. I've been watching these videos for like a year now.
Ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it.
Another channel I really recommend is Hangul or Korean Oni. She's really cool because she shows how you can use K-pop and K-dramas to learn small phrases and things. Another thing I would say to do definitely is to watch all the things you usually watch on YouTube, but just in Korean. There are people that make content in every country, in every language. You just need to find the Korean versions. So for me, for instance, I like watching makeup tutorials, daily vlogs, pranks, couple videos, diet videos, stuff like that. So then I'll just like get out my keyboard and type like diet and like makeup, whatever, you know? So I'll like type it in Korean. It helps you to just hear it, even if you're not like actively paying attention, like your mind is paying attention, you know? The next thing I use to learn the language is apps, language learning apps. So the most famous ones are Lingodeer and Duolingo. I've been using Lingodeer and honestly it's been amazing. Duolingo is great, but it's not really for me. Also, another app that I use it's called Korean Listening Practice. Honestly, I just searched Korean Listening Practice in the App Store and this is what came up. But it's really cool because they have like lessons that you like hear. So there's like a teacher and then you come into the class and they're like 안녕하세요 and you're like 안녕하세요, you know, type vibes. And yeah, so it's cool because it's purely listening based. There's no text, there's no seeing the person, so it helps with your listening comprehension a lot. Then V-Lives. If you're a K-pop stan like myself, you know what V-Live is, but if you're not, essentially it's like a live streaming app for K-pop idols, and sometimes there's other things on there that's not exactly like K-pop stuff. A lot of the K-pop idols do have English subtitles, but almost all of them don't. And essentially why I like watching V-Lives is that you see your favorite celebrity, and on top of that your listening practice gets better. You get to hear how people say things, how people pronounce things, and you get to start picking up on like different dialects and stuff, which I think is really cool. Nextly, an app that helps me a lot is BTS Lyrics. So this app wasn't made for language learning, but essentially what it's for is that every time there's a new BTS song released, then the lyrics are just put on that app, which is really nice because they have romanizations as well as Hangul as well as English translations for all the songs. It's really nice, say a new song is released and then I can go check it out. I can check out the translation and I can try like match the English words to the Korean words and like try and figure out what different words mean. This has helped me so much with my vocabulary, it's crazy. I will be putting links to all of the apps that I mentioned in the description box below, as well as links to all the YouTube channels that I mentioned. Also, I would like to emphasize that it is extremely important to learn Hangul and not just rely on romanizations, because there is no way in the world to pronounce Korean words correctly using romanizations. The sounds are just different in English and Korean, and that's why they have their own writing system. I would recommend learning Hangul. It's really not difficult. They have less alphabet characters than English does. It took me like 1 hour to learn the entire Korean alphabet, and I've been using it ever since. Okay, so we talked about learning. So now the next thing you need is practice. Practice is extremely important, if not more important than learning the actual thing. I actually know a bunch of people who can speak Korean almost fluently and they never learned anything about grammar rules, and they literally just learned by listening and learning. Okay, but how do you do this? Especially in a country like South Africa, where it's very hard to find native Korean speakers to practice with. The internet. Tandem is my favorite app for language exchange and stuff, but there are other apps like Hello Talk and the other ones. I honestly don't know what they're called. I've just been using Tandem. What I like about Tandem is that it's like moderated by people, so it's hard for like spam or bot accounts to join, and also like the Tandem community is generally safer than other online language exchange communities. With Tandem, I find what I like is that it's easy to find people who are genuinely interested in learning the language. Yes, you will have those random guys that try to slide into your DMs because they want a foreign girlfriend, and honestly, if you want to be the foreign girlfriend, go for it. It's just not my vibe. Also, another thing that helps a lot with practice is if you can speak in person to native Korean speakers. I literally only have 2 people who I can practice with, and I barely even practice with those people because the one of them is my client, so I usually just speak to him in English to like get the lessons done, and another one is a YouTube friend of mine. So yeah, I don't use it that often, but I should. I feel like if I spoke to them in Korean more, I would probably be better than what I am, but I'm shy, so I don't. Another thing that a lot of people learning a language tend to overlook is to speak to other people who are learning this language. So like people who aren't native speakers, but people who are learning the language. That has helped me a lot because a lot of the time language learners will know things that native speakers won't, like grammar rules and stuff. Think about it. In English, you speak English, but if someone was to ask you like what are the exact grammar rules of English, it would be hard to say because you learned it by listening and not by writing down. Okay, and this is a very important step. A lot of people tend to ignore this, but anytime you like Google how to learn a language, the number one thing that comes up is immersion. But how do you immerse yourself when you live in a country with little to no speakers of your target language? The answer is media. Luckily, Korea has like done the most in terms of media with exporting K-pop and K-dramas. It's not difficult to find Korean media. What I did is I started listening to as much K-pop as possible. Anytime I want to watch a movie, I watch it in Korean. Anytime I want to go on YouTube, I watch my videos in Korean. It helps me to hear the language. A nice thing with K-dramas and K-pop, though not so much K-pop, is that you get to hear slang and colloquialisms and other things that you don't usually hear or see when you're studying by the book Korean. Okay, but how do I use dramas to learn? It's just a show. Ha ha ha! It is not just a show, because it's a show in your target language. Okay, so what I do with K-dramas is that I'll put on the subtitles in English, right? And this is like at beginning stages. So when you're like beginner Korean level, this is what I do. I put on subtitles in English. Then every time I hear a word that like registers as, oh, I don't know this word. He said pirio. So I need to think pirio. And then I just like repeat it a couple times until it kind of sticks in my head. So now I can even think, oh, yesterday they said pirio. And the next time someone says pirio hada, any type of conjugation of pirio, whatever, then I can be like, oh, okay, I know that word, ha ha ha. You know, that actually helped me a lot with vocabulary. Then as you get more advanced, you keep using this, but then you also add things like, now you start recognizing sentence construction. How is this person constructing the sentence? How are they saying this? How are they saying that? What type of conjugations are they using? What type of honorifics are they using to the people they're speaking to? Are they speaking casually? Are they speaking like semi-politely? Are they speaking completely politely? There's all of these other things that really builds into when you see a conversation happen in context that you don't really see so much when you do a by the book Korean lesson, you know? I still do struggle a bit with honorifics because almost all of the language exchange partners I have had have been my age and or like extremely older than me. So I only know extremely casual or extremely formal. So it helps a lot watching a K-drama where someone's talking to someone who's only like slightly older than them. Someone they can call like Onni, Oppa, or Hyung, Nuna, those type of things, you know? So it's very helpful to see that when I don't really get to experience that. Then something with YouTube that I don't really do with Korean dramas so much is that I like to watch channels that have subtitles in both English and Korean so that I can see like the English and Korean right next to each other as the conversation happens. That way I get to see the context of the thing as well as seeing the English and Korean translations. So I'm like, okay, so this is how you say this in Korean. I will be linking some of my favorite channels in the description box below, but this is just like my taste, you know? Lately, I've been on TikTok. For those of you who came from TikTok, hi. For those of you that don't know I've got TikTok, please follow me. It's really fun. Actually, you guys should get TikTok. TikTok is fun. Oof, guys, it's so fun. But yeah, so one thing I've been using TikTok for lately is that I watch like those little tiny skits in Korean and stuff like that. And that's always really nice because a lot of the time they don't have subtitles at all. So it's a lot of like looking at the people's facial expressions, trying to guess the context, trying to hear the words, see if I can translate it. And that's been a huge help for me, was translating random Korean TikTok videos. Yeah, so what's very helpful is to speak to other language learners and ask them about their methods of learning, because honestly, the way I like to approach things like this is that there's always someone who knows something you don't know. Even if they just started learning the language, you know, there might be something they know that you don't know. So it's always good to ask other people, like, how do you do this, or how do you learn this, or whatever. That really helped me a lot when I was starting out and still helps me to this day. But yeah, those are all my tips and tricks on self-learning Korean in South Africa. But I hope you all enjoyed the video. Please give it a like. If you are learning Korean, comment down below how long you've been learning and what's your main thing you use to learn as well. I'd love to see how you guys are progressing. Also, remember to give me a follow on Instagram, TikTok. Yay! Just Instagram and TikTok, honestly. I don't care about the other social medias. But yeah, and I hope you guys have a lovely day and don't be too bored at home. Okay, bye!